Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about Knight's Journey of Dreams for the Nintendo Wii. Now, before I start talking about the game, let me give you a little backstory. From what I know, in about 2006 or whatever, Sega was making some Knight's game. And then what happened was, somebody at Sega saw the Wii sales going way up, and they decided after the 360 it was originally in development for 360 and PS3, but after it started getting some mediocre reviews or something internally or somewhere, they decided to make it a Wii game. To make more money, of course. So what they did was they reworked this game as a Nintendo Wii game. And keep in mind, the game was in development for under a year because of this. And the game released in 2007. A game notable for a year notable for many releases such as Call of Duty 4, Halo 3, Crysis, Mass Effect, BioShock, Assassin's Creed, so many other games came out this year that pretty much had a major impact on gaming as a whole. And of course, in this year they decided to release a Knight's game on the Nintendo Wii, back when the Wii hype train was still going, and back when casual games on the Wii were the big thing. So how good or bad is this game, considering it's been in development for under a year, came out in 2007 and was quickly forgotten about? Well, let's find out. And another thing, let me just say this right off the bat. Sonic Team is not a very good developer, and this is more proof of that. The first thing you notice is that this game is developed by Sonic Team, the same developers who had just made Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, and were making Sonic Unleashed. Of course, everybody knows how good those three games were, but anyways, the quality of Unleashed is debatable because I know more people like it than the other two. But let's get back on topic. The first thing you notice when you start this game is that the CGI looks flat out creepy and stuff. You can tell from the intro that this game feels rushed. And what is the game about? Well, let's talk about the story, since you cannot skip any cutscene in the game no matter how many buttons on the controller you press. Similar to the original game, there are two stories, Will and Helen, which is of course a boy and a girl. Now, I'm going to play Will's story, but unlike the Saturn games, Sonic Team has changed, and now this is the same Sonic Team that thinks that putting long cutscenes in a game about a talking blue hedgehog running and trying to add plots that make no sense, such as Shadow the Hedgehog's and 06's, were a good idea. But the storyline, from what I can tell, is you're some kid, there's some guy or something. Look at the CGI, it looks like crap. But anyways, somehow you're in a dream after, well, I don't know.
Dad?
After you're on something or something, I don't know. And then your dad is going to get in his car and he's going to keep on rolling because you know what time it is. Anyways, yeah.
Dad!
Anyways, basically the game is pretty much like that. You gotta watch this generic, cheesy story. Oh, and did I mention the kid also gets made fun of by Xbox Live users? But anyways, let's get back on to the game. The game is pretty much this. Mediocrity in a shell. In a box. Look at this creepy ass CGI. It looks like they were on a budget of $3 or something, but let's get back to the cutscenes that are in-engine and not pre-rendered CGI. The first thing you see when you see these terrible cutscenes is, wow, these graphics look like an early Dreamcast game, because they do. This is a Wii game, but even for a Wii game, considering how the Wii had stuff like Battle Revolution, these graphics look terrible, and you can tell if this game was developed in just a year because these graphics are, yeah. Look at this frame rate. The frame rate is crap in the cutscenes. And the voice acting sucks too. They just made random characters talk, like Knights especially. Yeah, they tried to shoehorn a plot into a game that never really had much of a plot. That's the thing. I didn't really like the first one, but the second one, it's even worse. I'm not even making this up. Let me just cut to some quality voice acting clips.
Say, Will, have you ever thought about flying? If you dualize with me, you can check it out for yourself. Want to give it a shot? Dualize?
Oh, dualizing allows your bodies to assimilate with one another. It's probably much easier to understand if you just try it. Go over and touch knights. You'll see what I mean.
So the first thing I notice is that this game tries to force motion controls down your throat. How? By having you point the Wii remote and having the game having knights follow. Yes, I mean somebody thought this was a good idea at Sega and Sonic Team. Luckily, the game lets you use the nunchuck, a classic controller of which I do not yet have, or of course the GameCube controller. Now, I can't use my GameCube controller because I'm playing this on a Wii U, but basically, it lets you use other controllers at least. I used the nunchuck, and it actually was alright. The problem was, the analog stick controls are terrible. Maybe it's because the nunchuck's oddball analog stick thing, instead of being round like the Wii U gamepad, 360 controller, near level controller, it's octagonal or whatever. It's got that weird shape to the area around the ring around the stick, making controlling knights feel iffy. So let me talk about the rest of the game. When you look past the graphics, you see pretty much the same gameplay as the original Knights on the Sega Saturn, with a few gimmicks tacked on for no reason because they could, and of course controls that suck because of the nunchuck. I mean, there's a reason I'm not a big fan of the nunchuck controller. There's also some enemies here and stuff, but basically you're supposed to fly through rings, and while some music that's actually kind of alright plays, and basically, yeah, that's all you do. Fly through rings, do objectives like get some enemy at the end, which can get pretty annoying, just like the boss fights in this game, which are also pretty annoying because they barely give you any idea on what to do. And basically you fly through the rings and Link, and yeah, the gameplay's kind of eh. And the graphics aren't added too. I mean, they look just like the Dreamcast one. I mean, the Dreamcast Knights part in Sonic Adventure, kind of. Yeah, this looks like a Dreamcast game. I mean, I know they intended well for the art style, but either the graphics were rushed too, or maybe that's just another side effect of the game being rushed. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, the only good part about this game is the music, probably because it actually fits with the game. The gameplay, however, is absolute meh. It feels like they took a game straight out of the Saturn era, tacked some gimmicks onto it like the average Sonic Team game, and pretty much rushed it out the door to make a quick buck. Which it didn't, because there wasn't any sequel to this game, just the PS3, 360, and PC re-release, which from what I heard didn't sell too well compared to, say, Jet Grind Radio and Sonic Adventure 2. That should say enough about, yeah, this franchise isn't really doing so well, especially not with crappy games like this. And all in all, this game's just kind of meh. I mean, that's all you do, and you just fly through rings, do the annoying crap the game wants you to, it gets boring quick, and it doesn't help the nunchuck and the classic controller aren't really that good of controllers. I mean, let's be honest, the 360 gamepad is so much better than either of them. Same with the DualShock 2, that was a good controller. Or the Control Rest, those are better than the Wii controllers, and that's all I have to say on this. This game is just mediocrity. Bad cutscenes, boring gameplay, it's not worth getting unless you're a hardcore Knights fan and you didn't get the re-release already. So all I have to say is, this game's just kind of meh. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and there are better games you can buy. Please don't buy this game.